Hi friends, my name is Kim. Welcome back to Cottage Kim Cooks. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm so happy to have you with me today. So today I was looking for a recipe that could use up some leftover mashed potatoes. So I have these leftover mashed potatoes and I thought, what better than to make shepherd's pie? Well, I don't use lamb. We call it shepherd's pie even when we use ground beef in the US, but technically that's called a cottage pie. So I'm making cottage pie, but for you, everyone else in the US, it's our typical shepherd's pie just made with ground beef. So the first thing I'm going to do is start sauteing some onions, and I'm going to get the onions on, and then I'm going to preheat my oven to 400. And I think that based on the amount of ground beef that I have, I'm going to use a square pan. I'm going to go ahead and add my ground beef, and I'm going to go ahead and salt and pepper this. So if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, you know that I've been on a weight loss journey, that I went from 278 pounds down to 164 pounds. And it took me 3 years. And my A1C went from 13 or 12.9 to 4.9. Well, it's the holidays, and I got I was given a really fancy advent calendar that has different chocolates in it for each day. And I've been eating not as well as I have been, and I've gained 2 pounds already. And it's not even Christmas, but it's been Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving, I made homemade rolls, and um, yeah. So I've got to really watch. And so that's why I wanted to pick a recipe today that I'm using mashed potatoes, which do have carbs in them. So if you're doing keto, it's not a recipe for you. But if you're trying to stay under that 45 grams of carbs that we stay under to be diabetic friendly, this is still a recipe that we can enjoy. And it's a way to use up those mashed potatoes. Um, I don't want to, I'm big on not wasting food as well. But I will tell you that I was very discouraged to get on the scale and see that 166, because it creeps up on you. You know, I didn't become 278 overnight, but when I think about it, I think, well, I didn't think about it every time I bought a new size that, hey, you're getting bigger. Um, I just bought a new size. And even though I felt bad and I felt, I don't know if embarrassed is the word. I mean, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed to be as big as I was, and I couldn't get down on the ground and get back up with my grandkids, and I was self-conscious. I guess that's more than embarrassed. I was self-conscious. And so when I saw those 2 extra pounds, I thought, oh, this is the start, and um, I know that it's okay. It's just 2 pounds. I haven't weighed in a while, so that's probably since Thanksgiving. I know that I'm not eating as perfectly as I should, but I'm taking my blood sugar, and I'm not wearing a continuous monitor anymore, because those are expensive and my insurance doesn't cover them. But I am taking my blood sugar, and so my morning blood sugar is in the 90s, and my after eating blood sugar is about 110. So I'm not doing bad as far as my blood sugar goes, but I just want to make sure that I'm as vigilant as I have been the past 3 years. And because I don't want to get bigger again. I want to be able to be on the floor with my grandkids. I want to be able to um, shop in a regular store. I mean, that was my goal, was to be able to buy clothes in the regular clothing section. You don't know what it's like when you wear a 3X. You can only get those certain places, and 3X, sorry about that, a 3X in a standard store usually runs smaller than it does at, say, a Lane Bryant or Catherine's or one of the stores that caters to women who are larger sized. Um, so, it was my goal to be able to buy things at regular stores, at just anywhere, to be able to go in and buy things. And I've met that goal, and I don't want to lose that. And so I was discouraged when I saw it, but I'm encouraged that I know how to keep the weight off. I know how to go back down. I know how to keep my blood sugar low. It is following the same principles that we've been doing for the past 2 years on this channel. So we celebrated 2 years in October. Thank you to each and every one of you who follow me. Um, you encourage me just by watching my videos, and it just really, really helps to have this channel and to know that I'm having to make conscious choices about what it is that I'm eating. So I just wanted to share that with you, because I know that many of you are on a journey as well. I've talked to some of you. I've met some of you in person. And I know that the journey is not just mine alone. And so I want to encourage you that as we go through this difficult time of the holidays, that we can still stay focused. We can splurge every once in a while, but we can still stay focused on trying to maintain that under 45 grams of carbs, and, just really focusing on protein and high fiber and good complex carbs, rather than just um, wasted, bread, which I'm still going to make bread for Christmas. Just so you know, I have a new roll recipe that I'm going to try, because the rolls I made at Thanksgiving were a little bit dense. And so I would like to make a roll that is lighter. So we're going to add some red wine. And I'm looking to see how much red wine we add. And we want to add about 2 tablespoons of red wine. I think that's good. We're going to let that cook the alcohol off. And if you don't want to use red wine, or you don't have red wine, you could use beef broth, you could use chicken broth, whatever you have. I'm going to add some garlic paste. It does call for 2 cloves of garlic. I love that garlic paste. I know that some people really discourage using pre-made, and I do for most things, but that I hate to peel garlic. It's probably one of the things that I hate most about cooking, and I really enjoy cooking. So to have that garlic in that paste like that, and I think it tastes really, really good in the dishes that I use it in. So we're going to open up this can of tomato paste. And if you have a tube of tomato paste, that is great. You can use that, because you're only going to use 2 tablespoons. And what I'll do with the remaining tomato paste is I'll put it in a baggie, because there's another 2 tablespoons in there. And I'll put it in a baggie and put it in the freezer. My skillet isn't big enough. I need to have my skillet from home that is really, really nice and large. I actually think I might be getting one for Christmas. We'll get this tomato paste all mixed in. Now, it does say to use fresh carrots. I am not using fresh carrots. I don't even have you can use a bag of carrots and pea mixture. I don't have that, but I do have mixed vegetables because I always have mixed vegetables to be able to make a chicken pot pie at any time, or a turkey pot pie if I have leftover turkey. And so I'm going to use a bag of mixed vegetables. We're about to have this all mixed in, and the ground beef is done. We're going to add a little bit of thyme. I used to think that I didn't like thyme, but I actually do like it very much. And I figured that out in French onion soup that I canned. We're going to add about 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. And then we're going to add those veggies in here to our beef mixture. I just want to make sure that tomatoes paste is all mixed in, all the beef is covered. And it does call for corn. So the only thing that we're having that it doesn't call for is green beans. So it calls for carrots, it calls for English peas, and it calls for corn. We just want to get this all mixed in together. And I'm going to salt and pepper this again. So I want those vegetables to be good and seasoned. You don't have to have leftover mashed potatoes. You can make mashed potatoes for this. If you wanted, you could even get the Bob Evans mashed potatoes that are already made and use those. Okay, I'm going to pour this mixture into my pan. Get this all mashed down. Mine needed a 12 by or a 13 by 9 pan. I'm not sure, but we're going to use it this way and see how it goes. Now, I saw a variety of recipes for shepherd's pie, and the one that I like the best as far as ingredients go comes from Food Network. It's Alton Brown's. And he does not add Parmesan cheese to his. But I saw several where they added Parmesan cheese. I'm going to need to get my scissors. But I saw several that added Parmesan cheese so that it gives you a nice crispy crust on that mashed potatoes. So I'm going to add about a cup to my potatoes themselves. And they're already well seasoned. And then I'm going to use the rest of it and top my shepherd's pie with what's left of the cheese. So I'm going to just put this on my meat mixture, trying to space it out evenly so it makes it easier and I don't pull up the meat when I'm spreading my mashed potatoes over the mixture. Okay, that looks good. Now we're going to top it with the remaining, it's about a cup of Parmesan cheese. And then we are going to bake this for 25 minutes or until the potatoes are brown. Then we're going to let it sit for 15 minutes before we serve it. It does say to place it on a sheet pan. So let me get a sheet pan. We will place this on the sheet pan. And we'll put it in the oven, which is set to 400 degrees. And I will set my timer for 25 minutes. And then we will come back, let it sit, take it out, let it sit for 15 minutes, and then we'll give it a taste. Okay, friends, here we go. Looks delicious. It smells really good. I'm going to get a bite with everything but carrot, because carrot is not my favorite. Nope, there's carrot. It's sweet. I don't know what's giving it the sweet taste, but it's very good. It's almost like a sloppy Joe, but oh, there's just so many different flavors. I can really taste the tomato paste. I can taste the Worcestershire. I can taste a little bit of the thyme. I don't taste the red wine, but we really cooked that down, so I think it just adds a little depth of flavor. And it's really, really good. And the Parmesan in the mashed potatoes is phenomenal. So I recommend doing that. And I have the nutrition information for using the Parmesan cheese. So there are 8 servings, 456 calories, 31 grams of fat, 26 grams of carbs, but 3 grams of fiber. So we're looking at 23 net carbs, which is well below that 45 that we try to stay under to be diabetic friendly. 99 milligrams of cholesterol, so good there. I'm under 100 milligrams. And 19 grams of protein. So I think this is a winner, and you can find this recipe for shepherd's pie on the Food Network website. I will try and link it in the description. And this one is an Alton Brown recipe. The only thing I did differently is I used pre-made mashed potatoes that I had already made and added the Parmesan cheese to that. And I think that is an absolute winner, so I would do that again. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, Cottage Kim Cooks. You can also find me if you're in local to West Milton, Ohio. You can find me in 28 Marketplace. I have a storefront there where I sell my cookbooks and different kitchen things that I've collected, rolling pins, wood bowls, and different items. So that's right there at 28 Miami Street, called 28 Marketplace in West Milton. And it's a cute little town that you can do a little bit of shopping in and have lunch at the Bulldog Diner and just really enjoy yourself. So I hope that you enjoyed today's video. I know that I did, and I look forward to cooking with you again soon. Take care, friends.